Welcome to this week's Down Home with Tina. I am so excited because I've got a gal, actually two, coming up in this episode that I have never had on before. And one is to talk about the longest day. The longest day is the longest day of summer, and it happens to be of the year, and it happens to be the first day of summer. And then I've also got a gal who is going to talk about something that the kids will, any kid in our community can get the opportunity to do some acting. And she's going to share with what she's got going on. And then, you know me, I'll have a message for you at the end of the show. Don't go anywhere. It's Down Home with Tina.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
You walked down the aisle and promised happily ever after. Sometimes happily ever after means ending a relationship. We know the conversations are not easy. Deciding what's best for you, your children, and your next steps takes work and communication. At Dagger Law, we know there are no monsters in a divorce, only people trying to find their way. Local, trusted, experienced. Dagger Law.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. Kim Shook is with me. She is the Community Relations Director at Crestview Rehabilitation and Skilled Nursing Services. And we missed you for a minute, Kim. How are things going now that you're back in the area?
Oh, it's going great. I'm glad to be back in our hometown and with Crestview. It is amazing work that they do there, and so I feel very at home.
I just have to tell folks it was really nice because when I first saw you and we first greeted one another today, that you said, "I'm home."
Yes.
And you had this big smile on my face.
Yes.
So it was your body language and everything just showed it. But yes. I had to make sure that everybody else knew that as well. So you're here because there's something that is very, very important, a topic that we're going to discuss a little bit about today. And you are holding an event at Crestview Rehab to help out with raising funds for research for this, and it is about Alzheimer's.
It sure is.
I've had my own personal experience with a family member who has since passed on, and it's been, 15 years at least that she has been gone, and she was a whippersnapper until in her 70s, and then one day we started noticing things that were not her typical self. We would stop by to pick her up, to take her down to stay with us for a couple of days. Food would still be in the toaster oven that she had just forgotten. However, she was always like, "Oh, I just left that in there today," to cover things and such. So if you do have a loved one or somebody that you might think of might be dealing with Alzheimer's, but I know I had asked you before we got started, there is a difference between just forgetting things and dementia. What would you say is the difference between that?
Yes, loss of brain function is dementia, loss of memory is Alzheimer's, but that's under the umbrella of it. And there's several kinds. And then if you're going to the room, going down the hall and you go into a room, it's like, "Oh, what am I in here for? Oh, I forgot what I was coming for. What do I need?" That's just people are stressed or multitasking. They got a lot on their mind.
Brain overload.
Busy, appointments, all those things. It's like, "Oh, what was I going in here for?" That's just all normal. There's just some other things that just creep along or come along that, just like you said, you forget to turn this burner off, or just different things that just occur that you're kind of like, "Oh, that's," somebody goes to the store and they like, "Gosh, I forgot how to get home," and just little things.
Yeah, that's a bigger one. Yeah. That's where, now do those who are dealing or showing the signs of Alzheimer's or dementia, do they just come out and tell their loved ones about it, or do the loved ones who are not maybe around them often need to pay attention to those things or spend a little time? What do you suggest for the loved ones? Because it's going to be hard.
Yeah, the loved ones, they are, caregivers and loved ones just pick up on signs and just little things. And, you can approach your loved one and let them know of your concerns. But a lot of the patients, they're going to probably be in denial. And then, you could maybe even speak to the physician, because there's a battery of tests they can do, like an assessment at their wellness check to just determine maybe where they're at, if there's this onset of it, and there's some meds that can slow the progression down, Aricept and those kind of things. But
nice.
Yeah.
Are there brain things that you can do to help with your memory, like puzzles or something like that?
Yeah, a lot of
puzzles
word searches and those things, just to keep your mind focused. And there's things for stimulation and those things.
Okay. And I know they have so many different apps for that. Do you suggest either the apps or the booklets? Because I know they've had crosswords. Some are old school, and I'm not saying that I'm not one of those old school people, because I might be to write.
Yeah, you like to write in the book.
Yes, to touch it and feel it like that instead of using the handheld devices that we have these days. But and some of the older folks don't like those, or they're not used to those. Yeah.
And then some are pretty techy. I'll be walking down the hall, and there's patients on their on their iPhones or on iPads. So it's good. That's very good for their mental condition. Yeah.
Very, very good. Now, before we get started about the event, I would like to go ahead and share with folks, you are all offering at Crestview Rehabilitation some kind of series for Alzheimer's, correct? And their loved ones.
Yes, we're partnering with the Alzheimer's Association, and so once a month we are holding an educational series. We have them scheduled out for the next 6 months, and the one coming up is going to be on understanding dementia and Alzheimer's. So we'll have a speaker there from the Alzheimer's Association, PowerPoint presentation. It'll be in the chapel. It's typically around the second Tuesday of the month, so there'll be one coming up in July. So take a look on our Crestview's Facebook page, or things like that we'll be promoting it.
And then this is free to the public?
Free to the public, yes.
Would you like for them to register or anything?
They could call 740-653-9461 and register, but it's open to the community. In our chapel, we have plenty of room, so we had almost a standing room only last month. So
wow. Do you suggest folks that if they do have a history of it in their family, to go ahead and come out if they have a family member that is starting to age and get to that point in their life that they might be?
Yes, it's just more information you can gather on the disease is just very helpful. And then knowing that you have that support with us in the community, that we can help get you some further help.
Okay.
Of course, we just opened our new memory care unit, so we're there in that way when folks need that more skilled care. And that we have that for people that are at risk, maybe for wandering. We can have that with our secure unit. So, but it's a support group of sorts. There's time for question and answers. So
nice.
Yeah, just lots of things.
I know there are 7 different stages, and I know again with a family member that I had experience with, it was here or there. It could be a good day, and then it could be a really bad day. It just depended. But one of the signs that I do recall that we knew before she was diagnosed with it was, of course, she was asking, will you help me write down the names of my family members? And she would start to tell the same story over and over and over again. That was something else that she thought, and she just didn't realize it. And something I found out that was really, really surprising to me, Kim, and I don't know if you know this one, is that when they see dark, like the TV is dark, and this might be where the TV's on all the time for some of them, is because it looks like a black hole to them, and it startles them. I remember one specific time when we were sitting in the dining room, and the living room or the dining room door was open, and the storm door was, of course, there, and it was dark out. And she was will you please close that door? And I thought, well, that was just a little bit, because it was like a serious, will you please close that door? And I thought, well, yeah, sure. And then later I found out that that was something. So there's just little things like that
and it
that
could
are
be
a little
different.
different in their personality that could be
Yeah.
signs. And if you just question it or you don't know, please call somebody.
And
or
it could
find
be
out some more
different
about
with
it.
everyone. I mean, there's
It can,
all
yes.
kinds,
There is.
just like the sundowning thing. When it gets about 6 o'clock in the evening, they get a little agitated, and it's good to just keep the lights on and, keep things bright, because they
Yeah.
just, when it starts getting dusk,
Yeah.
it flares things up.
And different ways
Yeah.
that you can actually handle it,
Yeah.
I say, and speak to them and talk to them and communicate with them on it to
Just
help
in
them to be
changing the
better.
subject and diverting, diversion, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so let's talk
Yes.
about this the longest day. What is the longest day? Most folks, when they think of the longest day, there is the longest day of the year.
Yes,
What
and
is
that's
that?
June 21st, summer solstice. It's the longest day, but it's the day of most light. And so we want to bring light and awareness to the community for the longest day for the Alzheimer's Association.
Perfect.
So,
What will take place on this day at Crestview?
and a day in the life of a Alzheimer's patient, I'll just say this, can be a very long day.
Absolutely.
So it's Wednesday, June 21st from 11 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon in the back parking lot of Crestview Rehab.
What are the things that will be expected for folks if they come out that day?
Well, we will have, of course, the representative from the Alzheimer's Association will be there. We will have Rowdy Dog's food truck. We will have Kona Ice. We'll have a petting of the llama. Wagner Insurance will have the llama. We're partnering with Reflections next door of our community there. We're fundraising. We're selling T-shirts, which are very reasonably priced, $5, $6. And so all the
Nice.
proceeds for this will go to the Alzheimer's Association. The Wolf Radio will be there broadcasting live, which is from Fair Hope Hospice is sponsoring that. So
Okay.
just lots of great things. Home Helpers is going to have a photo booth. And so it'll just be a great day to come out and have lunch.
Resources and different things for folks.
Lots of resources. We'll have a resource tent there with lots of resources for folks in the community.
Very, very, very nice. I know one of the things that they offer in the community, and this is a great thing, if it is something that you are eligible for or not eligible for, I hope it's okay, is the oh my goodness, Meals on Wheels, older adults.
Yes.
Because that's a great way to have socialization for your loved one and with your
Yes.
loved one. And they are great folks, those volunteers. Do you agree, Kim?
They
that can
are.
help if you don't have a loved one you can see very often. They can be on a regular basis.
Yeah, you can have lunch
so.
at Meals on Wheels, and they will have a representative there with us that
Nice,
day.
nice. It's
And
just
then
that came to mind.
also, Meals on Wheels can be meals delivered, lunch to their homes out in the community.
Yes, that's right. If they are eligible for that, or they can even, if they need more social aid, there's so many great
There's
things.
lots
that
of resources
It's going to be that
there.
day. That's
Yes.
right. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm really glad. Kim, thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank you.
Folks that do want to find out more about your upcoming series and such, your website, please, or
Yes,
call
it
what's
is
best.
CrestviewRehab.com, or you can call 740-653-9461.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Folks, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. It's Down Here with Tina.
My name is Scott Duff, and I'm the director of the Fairfield County Overdose Response Team, and I'm here today to discuss Narcan. Narcan is the opioid overdose reversal medication. Narcan saves lives. We have saved countless lives in our community by providing Narcan to those with substance abuse disorders. We would very much like you to consider carrying Narcan on a regular basis. Narcan can be obtained easily in your community by reaching out to the Fairfield County Overdose Response Team at 740-901-1598.
This message is brought to you by the Fairfield County Adam H. Board.
It is Down Home with Tina, and I'm so excited to have somebody for the very first time on the show. She is someone that I know I think it's safe to say, been involved for quite some time in the arts and fun stuff and theater and things like that, because Judith Cosgray is now the executive director of the Rise Up Arts Alliance.
Yes.
So welcome.
Thank you.
I'm excited to find out all that you've got going on, because I have been getting your emails for quite some time. I know that you all are very, very busy. Will you please share a little bit with folks of what the mission is of your nonprofit organization?
Yes. So it started years ago with my children. They are not your typical sports kids, and there really wasn't a lot of activities for them to do. So they got involved in theater. And I realized there just wasn't enough going on around here with theater. And I was needing to drive my daughter all the way to Columbus for cello lessons and those kind of things. So we decided to start a group. My son was very big into, he still is, because he still runs the writer's circle for us, but he's a writer, and I would take him to the Thurber House up in Columbus. So doing all of that travel to get my kids where they needed to be for their programs, that we said, I'm just gonna do it here.
There you
go.
go.
And make it available to everybody. So we do things a little bit differently than most organizations. A lot of the theater organizations charge $150 to $300 a child.
Wow.
For the program. We only charge $35, and we have a scholarship program that if you cannot afford it, we just waive that fee. So everyone is welcome. There is no income verification for any of that. So we just go ahead and include them in it, starting at about kindergarten. We hope to do younger, preschool-y kind age eventually once we get into our permanent space. But we start at kindergarten right now and go through adults for our programming.
Judith, have you always yourself been into the acting part in theater?
No. Well, you can kind of say that. By day, I'm a librarian, so I'm the branch manager at the Baltimore Library by day, and I have been a children's librarian for 20 years. So in that, there's a lot of theatrics when you're in children's library. You have to act out the story, and that's
absolutely.
Yeah, so that's what happens. So I kind of got into it that way, and I've always loved theater. My mom was a musical theater nut, so she would watch, My Fair Lady and all of those. So I grew up with all of that.
So you said you start out with kindergarten. You're hoping to go a little bit younger.
It's more because of space limitations that we have. We have to focus on where we can get the most bang for our time that we have in those spaces. And St. John's Episcopal has been giving us rehearsal space, which is really great, but we're at the mercy of their timetable. So now that we're going to be getting our own space, we'll be able to do that.
So when you have kids that are interested, do you offer classes, or is this just specifically for different productions? Do you want the kids to have some kind of experience? What is that process? What is your expectations?
No experience necessary, because I think the best way for them to learn is by doing. So classes are great, but you get the best experience by just jumping into a show. So they just start out, and right now we're currently doing a show called Joust, a Mighty Medieval Musical. That is from 5-year-olds to 12-ish, 11, 12. And we're teaching them to play music with recorders, kazoos, boom whackers, all of that with the theatrics in it.
So is it a teaching process a lot of times with showing the kids how you become a character and things like that?
Exactly. We focus on the educational element of it.
Love it.
With fun.
Yes.
So they don't realize all that they're learning and all the skills that they're gaining through theater while we do it.
So do you offer those classes prior to one of your productions, or you just incorporate it with the production?
We just kind of incorporate it in, but now that we're going to be getting our own classroom space, we'll be able to do individual classes. So we can't wait to do that and push it a little bit further.
Hoping to still keep it free, or will it be something that is still
it'll
free
still
for
be
the kids?
affordable.
Affordable.
We try and keep it when we were doing classes before, they went from anywhere to $10 to $35 for a class, depending upon the cost of the instructor.
Okay.
And those kind of things that we do.
Do you do any kind of fundraising and things like that?
I'm constantly fundraising.
You are?
Yeah.
What are some of those things that you do? So folks and how can somebody donate if they are very passionate about theater and they want to help out in somehow, some way?
We're always looking for volunteers. We do background check on all of our volunteers.
Wonderful.
Because we are working with children. We just had a fundraiser called Spinal Crap, a rock and roll supergroup to die for. We just finished that one up, and that was a murder mystery dinner, and it was fantastic. It was so much fun. So we have those, and then each show we do a little fundraiser. So the kids sell something. So this one they're doing a candy and snack fundraiser. We've sold coffee and candy bars and all of that. So each show they do a little fundraiser to go with it.
Okay, and when is the show? When is the
Our next one? It is June 23rd, 24th, and 25th, and it'll be at Mount Pleasant Elementary. And that's one of our For Kids by Kids.
Okay.
So it's mainly elementary school kids that are doing it. It's a 30-minute show, so it's perfect introduction for young children to go and see and get an introduction to theater. So when we go in, when the kids come in to watch the show, we give them a little bit of history of theater etiquette. This is what you do, this is what you don't do, and watch the show and enjoy it, and then hopefully get them involved later on. And all of our, we try each year to do a show that aligns with National Education Association standards, which this is one of those.
Very, very nice. Now, are there tickets for the shows?
Yes, tickets, you can get them on our website, which is riseupartsalliance.org, and just click on tickets. And for this one, they're only $5 for adults and $3 for children.
Okay.
So it's
another way that you can keep going.
Right,
And
exactly.
Yes. What else do you have coming up this year?
You
have a lot, don't you?
We do. We'll have auditions at the end of June, which is the 26th, for The Day Aliens Attacked Fairfield.
So these are new scripts that have been
well, this
written
is actually
and
one that we found that actually had Fairfield in it.
Oh, that's funny.
It
so
is.
No, okay.
Yeah,
this
so
is
that's for
actually...
teens and adults. So it's a mixed cast of teens and adults.
Okay.
And it's a 1-hour comedy of a play of the aliens attacking Fairfield. And then we'll be doing Annie Jr., and that's part of our Penguin Project. And the Penguin Project is a unique program that we are the first organization in Ohio to chapter with the national organization to do this. And what it does is it allows children with special needs to be able to be the stars of the show. And then and other children volunteer to be their understudy and mentor to help them out.
Oh my goodness, I
So
love that.
I'm really excited about that. And that one, we start at the end, after the Lancaster Festival, we'll start with that. And it's a little bit longer process, just to give them a little extra time.
And I'm glad you said that. Typically if it is a 30-minute production, how long
that one's
is
6
that?
weeks.
Okay, you knew what I was going to ask.
30-minute production is about 6 to 7 weeks of preparation.
Because some of them are new at this.
Right,
That's probably
and
why.
it's usually 3 days a week, an hour and a half each day.
Okay,
So that we try and keep
That's
it.
not bad.
Yeah, it's really not bad at all. And then an hour show, hour to an hour and a half, you're looking at 8 weeks, 3 days a week. And then for something like when we did Sweeney Todd, that one is a bit intense because the music is very difficult. So that one was almost a 3-month process, 3 to 4 days a week.
Do they ever overlap, the shows?
Yes,
and
they
their-
do.
How does that work for you?
It's very crazy.
Right.
Very crazy. But I do have guest directors that alternate with me. I usually stick with the younger children because that's where my focus has been for my entire career. So I just respond well with the little kids. So we work well with that. And then I have others that work with teens and adults.
Okay. And then you said the Penguin Project.
Yes.
When does that one begin? And
That
when
begins-
and how long is that going to
It
be?
begins it's the last week of July, beginning of August. And the show is October 27, 28, and 29.
Okay. And are you doing auditions for that? How you
There
getting the
are
word
not
out?
typical auditions for that. So it's a little bit different because we're dealing with kids with special needs and we need to know what they can do. So the first 2 weeks is just learning music and lines, and then we go into casting. So they're not cast until 2 weeks in versus another show where you audition and then you're cast and then you start the show. But this is really exciting because of being the first one in the area to do it, and we've got the support of a lot of organizations in town, and to be able to give kids an opportunity that they wouldn't normally get, while we always accept everyone in our shows. So if anybody with special needs comes to audition, we accept them always. But that's not always the case in all theaters. And this is a specific project to let them enjoy and try out theater to see if they can do it on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And we welcome them at all times because we have kids all the time that have autism, ADHD, dyslexia,
Okay, those
all of
kind
it.
of
They all come in.
invisible, yes. Yeah.
But we would take anybody at any time.
Oh, I just love it.
Yeah.
I think that is so great. Kudos to what you're doing, Judith. This is just an amazing opportunity for our kids in the community, because there are kids who are not athletes. There are kids that would prefer to try or do or try
Right.
just to see if it is something for them. Anything else that you would like to share before we go and let you go today?
Just check us out. Check out our website, see what we do. We're going to be expanding all of our offerings. We have the Writers Circle, and we also have the Central Ohio Costumers Guild. That's part of us, and our leader of that works with Columbus Fashion Alliance and is an instructor at Hocking College. So that's a lot of fun too.
Wonderful.
I have so many things going on. I could talk forever.
I know. And you'll have to come back, though, and let me know and things like that. How can folks contact you or reach you?
You can just email at info@riseupartsalliance.org or go to the website. You can give us a call. The phone number is 740-215-0391.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
folks,
so much.
Very exciting to hear all of the cool things we've got going on. You know I love to have those theater and groups on and cast and all. So here we have another one more to add to my list that I can catch up with next time. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. It's Downhill with Tina.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right, because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign, not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Downhill with Tina is brought to you by these amazing sponsors. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor, just send me an email at downhillwithtina@gmail.com. I have a positive quote that I would like to share with you today. It is something that I'm trying to do. I recently have taken on a position somewhere where I'm teaching kids, and I'm very excited about it. And one of the things, you can only imagine, because those of you who watch the show on a regular basis know how I love to share positive quotes. It's been a little bit, because sometimes I run out of time. By the way, one of the kids said in the class the one day, she likes to talk, and I was like, I will not deny that. I definitely like to talk. But I also had another student who, because I'm trying to bring positivity into their world, that will give me a positive quote about every single day. And I need to start sharing some of those positive quotes, because they're pretty good positive quotes. But this one is about gratitude. The gratitude we sprinkle today appears as tomorrow's blossoms. And boy, I truly believe that what we give is what we get back. And we watched a movie in class the one day, and I said, negativity begets negativity, positivity begets positivity. Therefore, wouldn't you want to have more positive in your life? So start doing those things for others and have gratitude and sprinkle gratitude, and your life will blossom and become even better and greater than what it may be today. I truly believe in that. Don't think that I don't have those days where I'm going, oh, goodness gracious, remind me of what I'm grateful for, because I do as well. There's nothing wrong with that. Folks, if you want to watch Downhill with Tina, obviously I'm on Facebook, Downhill with Tina. You can also go to YouTube for those who may like YouTube, or you have a family member that says, hey, on YouTube, CLN, your hometown connection, because I do have one other thing that I want to shout out. I know that it's already passed, but I do want to give my producer, and I thank him so very much for putting up with me for now 4.5 years, Josh Messerly. Happy birthday. Hope you have a great week. God bless, and good day.